Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and this is Table Talk. Yep, it's another Table Talk. So if you haven't seen a Table Talk video before, what we do is talk about what's been going on behind the scenes at Model Kit Stuff during the week that's just gone, and then we talk about what the plan is, loose plan for the week ahead, including what might be coming up in the way of videos, what I'm focusing on. We have a look at one or two other things as well. And right now, currently, each week, I'm either giving away or selling at a very reduced price some kits from my stash to generate some funds so I can buy more kits for review on the channel. Now, I'll tell you now, I've got my eyes on a very nice 1:9 scale motorbike. That would be, if I get it, that will be the second motorbike kit I have ever had. The last one I bought, I can't remember what it was. I know it was a Harley of some type. And I know it had quite a lot of chrome work on. I also know I never finished it. And I must have been, I don't know, 13, 14. And I remember having the little vinyl pipe work that for the brake lines and things for years in my box of handy bits to keep. So I never finished it. I don't think I did anyway, but I don't really build motorbikes. Most motorbike kits are of modern bikes, and quite frankly, to me, they all look the same. So if I'm going to build a motorbike, it's going to be a really old school 1920s, something like that. Anyway, I have my eye on one. It's 55 quid, so I need to generate some funds to purchase that. So this week we'll be selling a kit, but we'll do more about that later on. Right, without further ado, if you are one of my new subscribers over the last week or month, a big thank you for joining the channel. It's greatly appreciated. I hope we'll have some stuff over the coming weeks that you're interested in. Those of you who have been subscribed for a longer time, maybe 2 years or more now, then a big thank you for staying with me. I have lots and lots coming, as you all know, lots of things in plan. So, yeah, something for everyone eventually, but, you know, only got two hands. Right, big news this week. I got some new bins, which are these things here. They are varifocals or very in focus. Basically, I can't really see anything. I know it sounds daft. I'm getting used to them. I've had them since Monday. I'm getting better with them. The worst thing seems to be working on the computer because of my work's computer because of the distance. So, and I'm sort of between the reading element and the distance element when I'm working on a VDU. And so the glasses struggle to find that sweet spot. So I'm doing a lot of that while I'm using the computer. I do actually have my old glasses, which are just pure reading glasses. So if my eyes get tired, I can swap them out, and that works a little bit better. But I do want to get used to using these ones. The rest of the time I'm using them, I'm getting on with them okay. So not so bad. And I'm pleased to say, despite more than one person saying to me, your reactor lights aren't going to work in the car. Yes, they do. Absolutely, they do. So technologies must have moved on because my glasses will go dark outside. And then when I get in the car, they lighten up a little bit, but they still stay shaded if it's sunny. So I'm quite pleased with them. Yeah, okay. So that was my big news for the week. So, what's been going on in the way of model building? Well, like I said last week, I wanted to focus on getting some go-to material together so that then I could flip onto the Queen Mary 2. And indeed, this weekend is all about Queen Mary 2. I want to get the Queen Mary 2 out of the way. I know that sounds bad, but I want to get the build done because I'm itching to get on with the Scharnhorst. And I'm not doing anything other than planning with that until Queen Mary 2's done. So as I intended, I really cracked on with the goater, and you can see it here. So the cockpit interior is now in its fuselage. Look at the size of that. So the fuselage, we've got the rigging there. I don't know if you can see rigging hanging out the back. And so that's all stitched up, waiting for a little bit of final cleanup and what have you. So that is pretty much ready for painting. So that bit's done. The lower wing is assembled, and that gives you an idea of the size of it, doesn't it? So the lower wing is assembled. I've also completely built up the engines and the engine mounts and the engine nacelles that go around it. They're all built or cleaned up. Most of it is cleaned up, but the engines are fully, both are fully assembled. We've got the tailplane built up as well, so you know, fairly decent. It's very, it looks fragile, but the parts are so wafer thin, they're actually quite wobbly. So yeah, we've got the floats done, the large floats. So previously they've been cleaned up. I've got them all glued together now, ready for paint, and I'm currently in the process of cleaning up the top wing. So this one has been glued together. Comes in 3 parts. We have a little section here that we have to put in, then the ailerons, and look at the shape of that. Very strange. So yeah, basically what I'm doing is I'm getting all these large sub-assemblies ready for paint, because when I'm painting the fuselage, so we've got sort of a wooden section on the nose, and a wooden section that comes out to about here, 71 millimeters in, and then the rest of it is this sort of green color, and that's the same color that we'll be using on the wings and the tail mainly. So it makes sense to sort of paint them all at the same time. That's why I'm building them up. And then when we're doing the wood on the nose and on the tail, it's the same color as the float, so that's why they're done. So yeah, once that lot's all painted up, it's really struts and rigging, and the struts are all painted in the white. So for now, I've left them where they are, and we'll deal with them one at a time. But basically, they're all in. They're not white. They're actually a very pale grey. You can see these two are already painted in that colour. So it's quite a nice contrast against all that green. So yeah, I think it's going to look stunning. Now, I haven't decided yet what I'm doing with the dark wood colour. I've got 2 options. I've got decals that I bought purposely for the job, or we can do some wood effects with paint. And I'm sort of leaning towards the second, although the decals would be handy. Having done a practice run with them, I'm a bit concerned about how well they're going to perform on some of these shapes, particularly, and also whether I can get them to sit nicely over some of the detail. So I'm sort of going towards paint effects, but that causes me some problems, because if you look at the nose there and you can see the different shapes as this comes together, it means potentially painting those sections separately, letting them dry, varnishing them, completely finishing them, and then masking them off and doing the section above, so that it looks like individual panels. And it'll be the same with the floats. Although the plastic is one large piece, in reality that's made up of a number of sections of panels of doped plywood. And when you look at some of the black and white photographs, the reference material in the instructions, I don't know if anyone saw Peter Oxley's review of this particular kit. If you haven't, go and have a look. It was a great video. But in there you can see how heavily patterned these float bottoms are, a lot of patches on them. So I need to think about what that is and what that looks like. So I know it was all doped and sealed on top of this dark wood. So I might have to mess around with some Tamiya Smoke or similar paint system to see if I can get some patchiness on it. and some weathering and what have you. So I've got a lot to think about, but right now it's get the sub-assemblies done ready for paint, and then we'll be painting the engines. And actually where we sort of are in terms of the build is putting the glazing in this, which I don't want to do till I've done painting, and then this attaches onto there. This gives you an idea of the height of it, yeah. And then the other wing goes on with the spars, but you can build this up without adding that and put that in later. So I've got a few things to play with, basically. So that's where we're up to with the Gota. It's going together absolutely beautifully. I'm not going to say no issues. I've had one or two. I've got a small fit issue on the underside here where it's not come together, about 1/4 millimeter, hairline stuff really. So I don't know whether that's me, most likely, but I spent a lot of time cleaning up all the joints and what have you to make it fit. So I'm not quite sure why that is. Anyway, that's where we are with the Gota. So with the progress of the Gota going on so well, that led me to think, what's next? So had a bit of a think. And obviously, I'd just been through my stash and sorted it out into a I'm never going to build pile and a far bigger in my head. I'm still going to build these pile. So where I am is I've just done a truck. We've just finished the Chipmunk, which didn't do much for me. Didn't enjoy the build. We'll have a big ship build on in the form of the Queen Mary 2. And then after that, we've got a very big ship build on, which is also going to be a complex build with all the aftermarket and what have you. So we've got a big complex build on. So this is also quite a detailed build. We're going to have all the rigging to do and what have you. And we'll get to a point where I'm doing rigging. Now, I intend to video and show you all the rigging. Yeah. And you're not going to want to see all the time it takes. So it'll be me putting in, either speeding it up or cutting to the relevant bit and cutting out me dropping the tweezers and swearing and that sort of stuff. So there will be a time when I'm working on this, building material, but I don't have anything to show. So that's why I'm jumping onto Queen Mary 2 and getting a load of that done. And I still have some material to share from the fire truck, which I think might actually be another 2 videos rather than just one more, like I thought, having looked at the material now. So I've got plenty of material, but in there I've also got a week off at the end of May, start of June. I'm away for a week. We'll talk about that perhaps in a minute as well. So I was sort of thinking I want something that's going to be relatively quick, will hold people's interest, will be fairly straightforward, straight out of the box, no photo etch, and something a bit different to what I've done this year. And what I've come up with is this. So this was a new tool last year, I think, the Bristol Beaufort Mark 1. I got it when it came out. I've done a first impressions in it. So if you're not seeing the first impressions, it's worth checking it out. It's a really, really nice kit, but I have no aftermarket for it. So it's straight from the box. It's a skill level 2. So nice, straightforward build, really. So it's a change to what we've been doing with the German Gota and what we will be doing with the German Scharnhorst build. It's also different to another project that is just starting off in the background. So we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, that is my plan. After the Gota, we're going to do the Bristol Beaufort Mark 1, the Airfix kit. I'm not sure which option, probably the Daylight one. Because although I really like the night paint scheme with the darker one, we sort of did that with the Mosquito last year, so we'll do something a little bit different with this. But yeah, a lovely kit. Should be a nice, interesting build, something a bit different to all the large scale stuff that we'll have been doing over the last couple of months before we start this. So that's the plan. So I said that there's another project brewing. So there is. I'm not going to be leading this one, but I am going to be taking part. And the idea is that in conjunction with another couple of channels, and we're all going to build the same kit, pick a different paint scheme, and share how that goes together. So I'm hoping we haven't flashed out all the details. We've swapped some ideas, and I don't know when it's going to come along. But that is going to be hanging on a 1:72 scale jet fighter. It'll be an interesting challenge because I don't do jets very often. Not very often at all, actually. And the other two people I don't think have built aircraft before, or certainly not at that scale. One of them, I'm fairly sure, has never built aircraft before. So we're all challenging ourselves in a different way to do something slightly different. Talking about jets, so sorry, I don't know when that's going to happen. We're flashing it out. We won't mention it officially until we know what we're doing with it and perhaps underway and stuff. And we've all got current projects on that we want to get done, so it's a sort of fit it in between project. But I will let that get announced at some point when they're ready. And like I say, I won't be leading, but I'll be involved, which will be nice. And with another couple of channels who are big friends of this channel anyway. So perfect. So talking of jets, I do have a jet that I want to finish up. So it's sat there waiting for an opportunity. So when I get a little bit of time off in the summer, I'm going to finish that off. And that's the Ghost of Kiev ICM kit, which it's an okay kit. It's gone together really well. I've got the paints for it. So one weekend I just need to sit down and paint it. So not quite sure when that'll be, but probably at some point when I'm building the Scharnhorst, I'm going to go, you know what? I need a break from this. But I have all the build material for that recorded. So I do have a fair bit of stuff that I can edit, which is what my plan is when I'm on holiday. So when I'm on holiday for a week, which is the back end of May, the Whit week here, I'm going to be in a combination of London and Warwick. It's my youngest daughter's 11th birthday, so we'll be celebrating that. We're going to do some of the usual touristy things in London, so some bits that the girls haven't done before, so they've not done the Tower of London before. I think with the coronation and the passing of the Queen, they've got a little bit more intrigued about the monarchy. I wouldn't really describe them as pro-monarchists. In fact, my eldest dad say perhaps the other way. But they both watched the coronation. They were both intrigued, just, interested. What is it? What's it look like? Never seen one before, as I hadn't. So they want to go and see the Crown Jewels. So we're going to go and do that. Tower of London's got loads of history, so they both like their history. So that'll be good. We've got the War of the Worlds experience, which will be amazing. Want to go and do the Sky Gardens. They want to do the London Eye. I think we're doing the Natural History Museum. Daisy's got a thing about Wales currently. On do Hyde Park and Buckingham Palace and Changing of the Guard. And I'm going to go and do the War Rooms. I have never done Churchill's War Rooms, and I think it's now 3 or 4 times I've been to London and gone, I want to do the War Rooms and not fit it in. So this time we're absolutely doing it. So yeah, that's the plan with London. But when I'm stuck in the hotel late evening, early morning, I've woken up and everyone else is still sleeping, I've got lots of opportunity to do some video editing. So I'll get ahead with my video editing during that week, even if I'm not doing any modelling. So keeping on with what else I've been doing, continue to build up my Scharnhorst spreadsheet. So I've nearly finished doing the bit that I showed you last week, where we've changed the running order and trying to link up the aftermarket instructions with the kit instructions and the step order. So that's nearly done. It's a little bit laborious, but it'll save me so much time in the build. You're not between pages and trying to make sure you've not missed anything and that sort of stuff. And then the really laborious thing comes, because then I've got to work out what I've got in the aftermarket photo etch that's not in the aftermarket instructions. There's usually several things, and making sure that there is no errors, and understanding what's actually not in the photographs. It takes a little bit of time. So my way of doing that is to list the fret numbers and the part numbers in there, and then go through the instructions and mark them off on the spreadsheet. And whatever's not marked off is something the instructions don't cover. So for example, there is loads of scuttles. None of them are on the instructions. They're not used in any of the images, either on the hull or on the superstructure. So that's there for you to use if you want. But once I understand what I've got that's not been shown, I can then work out where they are, because my instruction set won't reference them because I can't see them in the aftermarket instructions. So they have to be added, and to be added, I've got to know that they're there. And to know that they're there, I've got to go through every single part number through the instructions, step by step, crossing it all off. Yeah, laborious, but if I don't do it, I'll get to a point, I'll have built it, I'll have painted it, and then later on, I'll find this photo etch bit and go, oh, should have put that on there. So let's avoid any of those instances. So I'm sort of doing it in and around stuff. If I've got a listen-in meeting and I'm working from home, then I can listen in and I can do a little bit of that at the same time. So pick it up, drop it. So there's no rush to get it done. So I'm not worried about that. That's going quite well, actually, the Scharnhorst instructions. Now, I don't remember. Everything sort of fuses into one these days in my head. I don't remember if I mentioned this last week or not. So I'm going to work on the basis that it was a not. So I have put on pre-order the new Zukimura 132 scale Focke-Wulf, which comes with a resin figure, just like the 109 did. And if I mentioned it last week, apologies. If I didn't, then I've just mentioned it now. So I think I should expect that at some point in the autumn, so back end of the year. So you're not going to see that very soon. My understanding is Border Models also have one out. Well, to be honest, my experience with the Lancaster nose is that I won't be buying a Borders model because they're not putting the effort in. So, you know, if you're not interested in helping your customer out, then I'm not interested in spending my money with you. Fair enough, isn't it? So, yeah, Zukimura, they're always fantastic kits. They're proper builders models. I'm really looking forward to it. Apparently, it took them 10 years to develop it. So let's hope that they've done a good job, I think. So let's talk about what we did during the week. Make sure you didn't miss anything that you might be interested in. We started off the week on Monday talking about this little fella here, which is our fine airflow regulator. Quick little video, just making you aware of the product, to be honest. But I found it really handy. I'm messing around with it quite a bit at the moment, partly because it's novel. But it's not one of those things that, you know, you've got loads of settings, you set it up to your ideal configuration and never touch it again. And you sort of feel cheated that you paid for all these options that you didn't use. This is actually something you use. And although it's not got a scale on it, and I wouldn't even say it was precision, it certainly saves you having to change your air pressure at the other end. So, yeah, I quite like it. If you've not got a Harder and Steenbeck airbrush, then usually other brands have it in. You can get an inline Mac, I believe they're called, and basically you have a little adjusting screw which does the same thing. So yeah, it was just putting that out there. A lot of people were interested. I think it's a great little tool. I've got it on both my airbrushes now. So yeah, I'm still of the opinion that these are the best airbrushes that you can get from the limited number that I've tried. So that's how we kicked off the week. And then we've done a bit of a change because we changed things around and it wasn't really working. So effectively, from your point of view, I changed it back. From my point of view, I've changed things around because my daughter now has a part-time job. And on a Friday, I have to drop her off and pick her up, and that eats into my modelling time. So Friday night was my designated modelling night, the one night of the week where I can sit down and do modelling. My partner cooks, and that's the one day of the week that I don't cook. My partner cooks, so I can sit at the modelling desk, and all I've got to do is eat my tea, get back to my modelling desk, and away I go. The problem is, by the time I got my daughter to work and then I'm constantly breaking up. I can't do things like a big session of painting. And I was ending up with like an hour and a half, or staying up late and getting 2.5 hours in. So it was no longer working for me for a Friday. So I'm now changed that to either a Tuesday or a Wednesday in the week, depending on where I am with my youngest daughter and what I've got on with her. And put my video back to a Friday. So I usually get back in about 8:30 maybe with my daughter. That gives her a chance to grab her tea and sit down, and then my video can go up. So it's back to a Friday night for all of those build videos with the live chat. Certainly the number of people going to see it in the week had dropped off. People are busier in the week. I recognise that. So hopefully those people that hadn't been able to get to it in the week but used to come along on a Friday or a Saturday will be able to come back along again, and we'll see some old faces. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a nice way of ending the week, actually. If you've never been and watched one of my build videos as a premiere, I invite you all to come along. There's a little live chat function, so once the adverts start running at the start of that, if you click skip advert or watch the end of the advert, whichever you want to do, then you'll get the countdown music. And if you look at the bottom, depending on what sort of device you're watching it on, if you look at the bottom, you'll find a little thing that says live chat. If you click on that, the live chat will pop up. So if you can't see it, that's how you navigate to it, and you'll be able to see all your other fellow modelers that follow the channel having a chat. So basically, talking about the video, talking about what they're building. I usually ask what people are up to and where they're on, and we just have a general chat and a bit of a laugh. There's several other channels that join in, so you can find other channels through that way as well. And it's just a nice hour or so. So I invite you all to come along if you've got that time. Obviously, yesterday's was the Go to 6. And we concentrated mainly on painting the leather seat, doing the aftermarket seat harnesses, installing that and threading the rigging through. So that was the main thing, and that pretty much completes the cockpit build. Other than the interior of the fuselage halves at the nose end, where we've got some small bombs put in, quite a lot of small bombs and a load of decals and what have you. And then the fuselage halves come together. So another really enjoyable building video. I'm trying to do it in detail and take you through everything so you don't miss everything. So it's a little long-winded, but purposely so. It's just a lovely building experience. I'm proper enjoying that build. And then on Wednesday, of course, we had the Copper State models, not versus, but compared to Wingnut Wings. And like I said in the video, the premise is you can't buy a Wingnut Wings kit anymore, at least not for silly money, unless you've got silly money to spend, that is. So where's the next best one? Now, obviously, Rodin do a lot of 132 scale kits, but they come with a reputation. So where's the next best place to do? Well, if you want 148, Then Edward do a lot of 148 stuff, First World War, and that's a good place to go. And one or two others do, and Revell do them, but Copper State Models, they're doing a proper good job of them. And I believe their armoured cars build up really well as well. I spoke to Nigel's modelling bench, and he said he'd built one of the armoured cars and it was really awesome. So Copper State Models looks like a really good option, and I've got a couple of first impressions coming along from those soon as well. So that was the week that's gone. What's coming up in the week ahead? The next 2 weeks ahead are a little bit fluid. It all depends on how much editing time I can find. So I'll tell you what I'm hoping to do, and we'll just have to see what happens. But I plan on the week ahead to make a change to the usual running order. That's because on the 16th of May, it's the 80th anniversary of the Dam Busters. So you should see on that day a first impressions of the Border Models Lancaster nose in 1:32 scale with full interior. And I've also added a figure to that, which I think really adds a little bit to the display of the model. So it's a big hour plus first impressions of that kit. So hopefully you'll be able to see that. I've just got to finish editing it and load it up. So there's no reason why that won't be up. So that will go out on the 16th, which is a Tuesday. So rather than doing a Monday and a Wednesday, we'll do that on the Tuesday. And then what I might do on either the Wednesday or the Thursday, again, it depends on how much time is. I've got some photo etch from Edward for the Airfix K2 ambulance. So we'll be reviewing that. It's a small review, so should be able to fit that in. So I'll still try and get 2 videos done before we do the build. But obviously the KT etch is the disposable one of the 2 because I want the nose out on the 16th of May. So yeah, that's what's going to happen there. The build on the Friday will be the next instalment of the light fire truck. So the first one was the chassis. So the second one will be painting the floor, doing the wood effects and what have you, building the cab interior, and I think building up the cab exterior as well, I think. And that's not edited at all at the moment. That's still in its raw state. So we'll edit that together and make sure that's done before we do the KT etch. That's why that's the giveaway one. So that's the 3 videos that I'm planning to get out next week. Now, there's another anniversary coming up, which is the 24th of May. So on the 24th of May, which I'm just checking, which is a Wednesday, it's the 82nd anniversary of the sinking of the hood. Now, I just happen to have a 1/200 scale hood model lying around. I have previously done a video comparing the Pontos and Edward photo etch for that kit, but I've never done a first impressions of the kit. So we're going to do that. So if I find the time, we'll record that. I haven't even recorded it at the moment. Means getting it down from the attic, doing some distance filming because it's huge. But I'd like to try and get that first impressions out on that Wednesday. Now, if I get that out, that's brilliant. If I can't manage to get that out, then we'll see the review of the Mark 1 photo etch upgrade set for the 1/200 Scharnhorst. But I'd like to try and get that out that Monday and get the MK1 set out on the Monday and the hood out on the Wednesday. I do have another thought on my head. In my head, which is to maybe do a live stream that Wednesday and talk about the hood and stuff, on a live stream. So that's another possibility if I'm struggling with editing time. But so that's sort of where I'm up to, and then on that second week we'd have the Gotha Part 7, wouldn't it be? That's sort of what's coming up. That's what I'm aiming for. Exactly how it's going to pan out, I don't know. Right, before we get to model giveaways and the like, shall we have a look what's happening in the garden? Because a week of rain and sun and rain and sun and rain and sun, and the garden's gone bonkers. I'm fairly sure these two are playing chase. They do it quite a lot. Don't always manage to spot it. Nutters. So, like I said, the garden has gone bonkers. So you can see in my raised planting bed there that the hosta at the back near the bamboo, that's doing really well this year. Let's go and have a quick look. Last year it struggled, and in the autumn I cut this thing back and gave it some space, and look at it fly this year. That's absolutely stunning. Yeah, really nice. But yeah, we've got loads of stuff. I mean, this ground cover is going bonkers, has lovely purple flowers. This is doing well, has red flowers. That needs to come out. That looks like we've got a bramble creeping in there, so that needs to come out. So yeah, that's coming along. We did have irises in there, and my partner's moved them about, so they might not do so much this year. We'll have to see. Fernery is looking good. Solomon's seal is looking absolutely splendid. Have a look at those. Isn't that lovely? And my alliums are about to burst out into balls of pinkness, which will be really nice. This hosta is a little bit behind the other one, but yeah, doing really well. Honeysuckle's bursting into life, so we need to start training that up my new arch there. And the zebra grass has grown quite a lot in the last week or so. So yeah, all coming along nicely. The bees absolutely love the Solomon seal. I'm glad to see a little bit of action on this. I was a bit worried that somebody, not mentioning any names, but it wasn't me, might have pruned this back a bit too heavy. But we do have some growth on this bit at least, although I'm not seeing any anywhere else. But when this flowers, the bells are like bluebells. They're absolutely beautiful flowers, so hopefully that'll be all right. There's a little bit of life on the clematis there, and I'm not seeing much anywhere else, so I'll have to see what happens with that. Rhubarb, I'm about to cut that to make a crumble. Gooseberries, let's see if I can show you. I already have some fruit on my gooseberries, so I'm going to have to net this. I'm seeing a lot of blackbirds visiting, so that needs netting. Yeah, so there we go. Let's have a look at the vegetables. So tomato plant, that's doing quite well. Yesterday I picked out, to get a tomato plant to grow straight up, you pick out anything that grows in between the joins of the stems there, and that encourages it upwards rather than outwards like a bush. Spring onions are definitely looking spring oniony. My other tomato plant's a bit behind it. Spinach is shooting up, so we can start picking some of these young leaves now, and as you pick it, it encourages more. Pepper, I'm not sure he's so happy, but we'll see. I have some flowers on my strawberries, so that's all good. Nice to see. These strawberries are a bit behind, but that's okay. Flowers on my chives. Rosemary's doing fine. Sage has sprung into life along there. Still nothing on that side, so this weekend we will finally prune that off, but we have got life and hopefully we'll get some new growth. Beans, something's had a go at one of them, but essentially they look okay. And my leeks, they look like they're all standing up, so I think they're all doing okay. There you go, that's the garden update for this week. Right, my reactor lights are just recovering from walking around the garden. Okay, so last week I offered to give away free of charge, including free postage, a kit, and we're gonna now draw who has won that kit. So let's take a look at that. Right then, time to give away this Hawker Tempest kit. So let's explain what we're going to do. There are 14 people that have expressed an interest in the kit. So I've got them written down on this page. 14 of them. That's in the order that the comments have gone out onto the channel. So to make it fair and make it as random as possible, I'm using an app on my phone, which is called Random, strangely. And there you go. So I can set this up for numbers and it'll randomly select it. So I'm setting it up for numbers between 1 and 14. So if you look at the top, you can see 1 to 14, and then when you click that button there, it gives you a random number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign everyone a number between 1 and 14 randomly, and then we'll do the draw by clearing this and the history on it and pressing the button. We'll do that live so you can see that happening, and then whatever number comes up is the winner. Simple, right? So I'm just going to assign everyone a number and then I'll be back. Okay, everyone has now been randomly assigned a number, and they're certainly not in the original order. So this is as random as I can make it. I've reset my app and cleared any history, so it's not going to think about numbers it's previously generated. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to hit that button, you're going to watch it happen, and that's going to pick our winner from the draw for the lovely Airfix Hawker Tempest kit. So there we go. And the winner is number 11. So let's see who number 11 is. And the winner is John Marley 6695. So, John, you need to drop me an email to modelkitstuff@gmail.com with your postal address, please. I will message you and let you know that you've won as well. So, and if I don't hear from you in a week, then I'll probably put this on eBay. But I'll give you a week to respond to me, and then we'll move it on. Okay, so let's have a look at the kit that I'm getting rid of out of my stash this week. So this week's kit is a bit of a bundle, and we'll if you're interested in your 1700 ship kits, you're gonna love this. So fundamentally, what I'm offering up this week is the Tamiya 1-700 Scharnhorst. Okay, so I've not done a first impressions on this kit, I don't believe, so I can't point you to a video particularly that shows you what's in the box. But let me show you what is in the box. What you've got is the hull and the waterline section for the hull. You can see that the hull has a raised deck that's moulded in, and you've got to put in rear and front sections. The rest of it is still in its bags, so is unopened. So you've got 2 sprues in that bag, 1 sprue in that bag, has a closed hanger, instructions, never been opened, and then the weight that goes in the waterline. So that's the kit, and from a modelling shop in the UK, that's going to cost you on average £15 plus postage. On eBay, it'll typically cost you about £20. So that's the kit, but I'm chucking some other bits in with it. So I have some penning house decals, and that will cover flags, pennants, aircraft, and the deck markings should you wish. You can see that's sealed, it's never been opened, it's in there with the instructions, so I'm throwing that in as well. And I also have the Flyhawk photo etch upgrade set, which is going to come with it. Now let's show you what's in here. So in here you have one, you can see it's all still in its bags. I have at some point gone through these because the staples have been removed, but it's all as it originally was. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lots of 8, 9, 10 lots of photo etch, and I seem to remember they were all stapled down on a card, so I've separated them, that's why the staples are gone, but you can see that they are still taped in place on their cards. Can you see the tape there? So they've never been undone. And this, we've got some brass barrels there as well. So you've got all that photo etch, you've got the brass barrels, and you've got quite a large set of instructions. So loads of instructions, quite a comprehensive instruction sheet. So all of that. Now, you can't get the Flyhawk upgrade set in the UK currently. You can buy it from China, and that's going to cost you about 35 quid, maybe a bit more with postage, and then you've also got the risk of being hit with import duty as well. So you could bank on 40, 50 quid. Now I reckon that all these 3 items together is, if you were buying it all in the UK, around about £50 worth of modelling stuff. So I'm selling this, I'm not giving this away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell you the model for 10 quid. I'm going to throw the decals in for free. And I'm going to sell you the Flyhawk set for 15 quid. So 25 quid. So that's half price by my reckoning, which I think is a good deal, plus postage to wherever your part of the world is. So how will this work? I'm going to do it the same way as I did it last time. If you're interested in this, express your interest in the comments below this video today. Don't comment on another video and say, oh, by the way, I'm interested in the Scharnhorst, because I'll miss your comment when I'm writing everyone down. So it must be under this video. So you say, I'm interested in the Scharnhorst or whatever. Just make it obvious to me that you're interested in the kit. All the names will go in the hat. And then we'll draw it as we've done today using the app. And then I will talk to the winner, and what we'll do is we'll get your address. I will go to the post office and I will get a cost calculation for sending it second class to be signed for. So wherever you are in the world, I'm happy to send it to you, but I don't know how much that postage is going to be. And what I don't want to do is be selling kits to you guys at a great price, and I'm only just covering the postage with the revenue I'm making, because the idea is to put some money back into the channel so I can buy the motorbike and some other kits for you guys to see. So 25 quid plus postage. Now we can have a chat if you want this condensing down and don't want the boxes to make the postage easier, we can do that. If you want to, you want me to send it first class and registered, we can do that. But my intention is second class because it's a bit cheaper and to be signed for, so I know that you got it. And that's it. That's the plan. So if you would like this at a bargain price, half price, the prices I've given you are the current prices for buying this stuff. And like I say, you can't get the Flyhawk set in the UK currently. You have to import it from China. And it's about 33 to 37 quid from China. That plus postage. So I think that's a good deal. 25 quid. Plus postage. If you're interested, let me know in the comments below. And then next week we'll draw the lucky winner. If no one's interested in it, I'll put it on eBay and I'll be putting them on as separate items and selling them for as much as I can get. So I know I can get more for it on eBay, but I'm giving you, as my subscribers, first refusal as a thank you for supporting the channel. There we go. That's the giveaway bit done. So I think that's it for this week. I can't think of anything else I've got to do other than quite a lot of editing. So I'm going to crack on with that. I will see you next week, and I hope to see you on the next build premiere in the live chat. Until then, you enjoy your modelling. Take care. Bye for now.